Hi, everyone. Welcome. We're just letting people into our waiting room now. We'll be starting in a few minutes. So glad that all of you could join us. I know we have a couple of guests here from Beyond Vision, so welcome to you and thank you so much for coming. While you're waiting, we do have some slides for you to look at. You're here for our More Than Meets the Eye virtual experience, and we do thank you so much for joining us. So just a fact to sit and think about as we're waiting. Every 7 minutes, someone in the United States loses their vision. We have a photo of one of our little guys here, little Rolo in the picture is a toddler, and he's at a light board using his senses. Our kids use what vision they have. They use their sense of touch, their sense of smell. The teachers really help bring out all those senses in the classroom. Again, welcome to the people who are just coming on board. We'll get started in a few minutes. One of the slides that we have showing is a senior. Her name is Marilyn, and she's learning how to use some of the tools that we have for people who are visually impaired. She's learning how to use a writing guide and some markers and some other things that we have available here. She's with one of our occupational therapists, and her name is Susan. So welcome to the people who just came on board. We'll be getting started in just a couple of minutes. So we also have a slide that features one of the people who you'll hear from later today. His name is Dee. And on that slide, it talks about the dollars that our partners support us with, over $2 million a year to make possible what happens here at Vision Forward. I see we've just let a couple more people in. We welcome everyone again. We'll get started in a couple of minutes. Actually, just 1 minute. We do appreciate so much that you're here with us. So we will get started in a minute. Before we do, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Susan Eggold. I'm our Retail and Outreach Manager here at Vision Forward. And I really do feel honored to be here with you all today for our first More Than Meets the Eye virtual experience. I feel honored to be part of the staff here. It's been great. I've met some of you, just the great partners that we have here at Vision Forward. So thank you. I have a couple of technical things to go through before we get started. So first of all, we want to give you the opportunity to ask questions as we go along. And you can do that by using the chat feature on your screen. Typically, visually, that would be at the lower part of your screen. So you can type in your questions there. Second, you're going to have a better experience if you hide the view of the faces, if you can see faces on your screen. And there are a couple ways that you can make that happen. If you'd like to hide the faces, you'll see at the top of your screen a command called View Options. And if you click on that, under that there will be a command that says Hide Video Panel, and that will hide those pictures. Another way to hide the pictures is to go over to where you see the pictures of people. And if you take your mouse above that, and you'll see a command that says Hide Thumbnail Video. And if you click on that, that will take those pictures off the screen as well. So I'll give you just a minute if you'd like to go ahead and take care of that. And then welcome again to anybody who's just joined us.
Thanks, Dan. Well, everyone.
Now, as you'll see, we might have a couple technical issues as we go along here. This is our first go at this, so we appreciate your patience.
I just can't wait to get started.
But we're really so happy that you joined us. Today, we're going to hear from a number of people.
Good afternoon.
We're going to hear from Dan. He's one of our board members. We're going to hear from Erica. She's our social worker. She's been part of the Vision Forward team for more than 20 years. We're going to hear from Dee. Dee is a client of ours, and he's got a very, very powerful short story to share. And then we'll hear from Terry, who is our executive director. So it looks like 4 o'clock has arrived. It's time for us to get going, and so I will introduce Dan. Take it away, Dan.
Welcome to Vision Forward's More Than Meets the Eye series. My name is Dan Lococo. I'm a board member here at Vision Forward Association. I became associated with Vision Forward shortly after learning that I had a degenerative eye disease called retinitis pigmentosa, or tunnel vision. Since that time, I've lost most of my remaining vision, and I've also learned an awful lot about dealing with vision loss. Among the things I've learned is that vision loss and dealing with it is a journey, not a destination.
Thanks, Dan. Well, everyone, I'd like you to imagine something with me this afternoon. Even though, because I'm a blind person, I won't be able to tell, I'd like you to close your eyes. And just imagine that this morning, when you woke up, all of your vision was gone. That you are now a blind person. How do you think you would get through all the requirements of your day? You're going to want to, of course, get up, get dressed, pick out some clothes, make sure your socks match, get your hair combed. You'll want to shave or maybe put on some makeup, and you won't be able to see your face. And believe me, getting toothpaste on a toothbrush is going to be tricky. Well, you're going to have some breakfast before you go to work. So think about pouring a hot cup of coffee or finding something in a refrigerator with a lot of things in there, and you probably don't even want to deal with the stove. So it's time to get to work. You won't be able to drive, so think about another way. You're going to have to get there some other way. And once you do get to work, there'll be all the requirements of your job, the things that you need to get done. And how will that happen if your vision is gone? Again, you got to get home from work, and then there's dinner to make. And then what else might be in your evening? Maybe helping the kids with their homework, cutting the grass. Maybe you're going to watch the Brewers game, or maybe in this case, listen to the Brewers game. It might be different. So there's so many things within just an ordinary day that would be different for you. And this may all seem pretty overwhelming, and for a while it might be. But you're not alone. And in fact, we're going to have somebody tell you about his experience with vision loss and how he found his way. So thank you for listening, and now you can open your eyes and listen to Dee.
Hello, my name is Dee Ward. I'm married and have a family of 3. I lost my vision suddenly on April 15th, 2016. I didn't have any prep time to see this coming. I didn't have a deteriorating eye disease. I didn't have any sickness. I had no time to prepare for this tragedy. It was the last time I would ever see my children again. It was the last time I would see my wife again. It was the last time I would drive my car again. Last time I would go to work again. So many last times to prepare for that had no time to prepare for. You could imagine how I felt. I felt gutted, wrecked, devastated, alone, even embarrassed. What happened to me was that I lost my vision during a back surgery. I went in seeing perfect, 20/20 vision in both eyes, and came out not seeing at all. What was explained to me is that during my surgery, I had a stoppage of blood flow to my optic nerve for an uncertain period of time. And the optic nerve can't take that. And unfortunately, it died and took my sight with it. During my recovery time, I mentioned this to my doctor, and they brought in an ophthalmologist who said that I would never see again because I was suffering from posterior ischemic optic neuropathy, which more or less means the posterior of my optic nerve had died. The next day they brought in a neuro-ophthalmologist to confirm that. And To say the least, I was awestruck. I wondered how I was going to be me again. I wondered how I was going to be a dad again, how I was going to be a husband, how I was going to navigate this world. And through the hospital, I learned of a place called Vision Forward. I came to Vision Forward at the edge of my life, not knowing how to do anything, not seeing. I learned to use technology again through Vision Forward, which means navigate the internet, type email, navigate your basic programs of Microsoft. So I was more or less like everyone else in those types of ways without being able to see. I also learned activities of daily living, how to do my laundry, how to cook myself a meal, how to take care of my kids, and how to navigate around the house. The person even came out to help me put buttons on my microwave and my washer and dryer and my oven. I then learned orientation and mobility, which more or less taught me how to survive in my world, how to navigate from point A to point B, how to know where I was in nature by listening to sounds, traffic cues, and other audible warnings. And then most importantly, I was introduced to a support group, which was led by my good friend Erica. She put me in touch with not only other people that had gone blind, other people that had had a really hard time with it. So through Vision Forward, I learned to live again. I learned to give my life a chance. And today, although it's still a struggle, I know that I have someone to struggle with.
As Dee's story demonstrates, vision loss can happen to anyone at any time in life. It does not discriminate. It doesn't care who you are, where you live, or your age. That's why Vision Forward exists. Hi, I'm Terry Davis, and I'm honored to be the Executive Director here at Vision Forward, and I'm very privileged to work with the amazing staff who are so very passionate about our mission. Our services level the playing field for those living with vision loss, allowing people from every walk of life to access whatever level of services they need, regardless of their ability to pay. To deliver the kind of services that Dee received, it takes about $1,200 per year per individual. That's about $100 a month. That's probably the cost of your cable bill. Overall, it takes $2 million a year to meet the needs of all the children and adults who come to Vision Forward for help. After program fees and other revenue sources, we have a funding gap of approximately $1.2 million annually. As of today, our financial contributions received total just over $529,000. So yes, we have some work to do to close the gap so we can ensure that everyone who needs our help can receive it. So what happens when people make a financial contribution to Vision Forward? Parents receive help for their children and their infant toddlers so they know how to use their other senses to discover the world around them. For example, if a child is playing with a ball and it rolls away, how does a child know how to find it? Our well-trained and caring staff help with this. People of all ages receive the support they need to learn to walk safely with a white cane. Our youngest was 3 years old and her name was Eliana, and she's doing just fine right now. Working age adults receive the specialized support they need to learn how to use a computer through voice command because using a mouse isn't realistic. And financial support helps seniors to learn new ways to accomplish everyday tasks, such as reading their mail or reading their prescription bottles. There's no other place in Wisconsin where people of every age and at every stage of vision loss have access to the life-changing services that Vision Forward provides. Unfortunately, vision loss continues to rise throughout the world, but it doesn't have to be the end of the world. Our entire team is passionate about helping people gain the skills and confidence to fully participate in life. It's our mission. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to learn more about the life-changing work we do and the very special people who benefit from our services. And now Dan will dish up some additional details about another experience that we'd like to share with you.
Thank you, Terry. On November 1st at 5 p.m., you'll have an opportunity to continue this journey that you've started with our Dining in the Dark at Home experience. You'll learn more about it in coming weeks through our emails, but it's an experience that gives you a chance to learn more about the experience of blindness in everyday life. Thank you for being with us today. We hope you enjoy the rest of the day. If there are any questions we can answer in the chat, we'll do that before we leave. But have a very good afternoon. Thank you again.
Thank you, Dan, and thank you to Terry and Erica and Dee. And again, thank you to all of you who've been part of our experience this afternoon. We do want to give you an opportunity to ask all of our people questions. If you have any questions, Dee, Dan, Erica, and Terry are available and ready to answer those questions for you. We won't keep you any longer than about 4:20. We had agreed to keep this to about 20 minutes. So you're welcome right now to type any questions that you have into the chat. And while you're maybe thinking about a question, I actually have a question for you, Dee. Something that you said at the end of your talk to us really struck me. You said that you've struggled, and I actually wrote this down, but you know you don't have to struggle alone now. I kind of met you at the beginning of your journey, and I've seen you on the other side. And I'm wondering if you can share with us some of the things that you're doing now that maybe at the time that this happened, that you didn't think might be possible for you.
Thank you for the question.
Yeah.
Well, before COVID struck, I worked out at the gym, and I would have never done that or had the confidence to do it without Vision Forward. There are times when I use my white cane to make the 3-mile trek home across a couple of intersections and through some busy streets. Now, I don't live in the city. I do live out in the suburbs, but that is quite a trek. I take care of things in my yard. I attempt to cut the grass by using a grid system I'll use in my head. And I do have a tiny bit of light perception out of my left eye. So I will move objects around the yard and make that a focal point of where I will push the mower to. So that's kind of how I do it. It's not the exact science, but for the most part, it works. And it works best, obviously, when my kids are away at school, because they do it if they were home.
Yeah.
I can make my own meals. I survive very, very well when I'm alone at home.
Yeah, it's kind of a follow-up question that Maggie has for you. And I think you may have partially answered it, but maybe not the end of her question. She's wondering if you feel comfortable now in your day-to-day tasks, or do you still have anxiety because of your vision loss?
That's a very good question. Now, day to day, I feel very comfortable doing my day-to-day tasks. There are times where I will have a small amount of anxiety, but it's more of something that I'll bring on myself, putting too much pressure on myself. But on a day-to-day basis, I don't feel anxiety any longer.
Okay. We got a comment from Susan, another Susan, good name. And she has a suggestion here. She said, if you do a virtual dining in the dark, consider inviting people from other locations around the US. That way you will have a larger group than a traditional restaurant. So I will give that invitation to everybody that's part of this group. I know I'm really excited about inviting my grandson, some friends and family members. And so the neat thing about going virtual this year is that we can all dine together. Do we have any other questions? All right. If not, you know our phones are always open. I'd love to say our doors are always open, but our phones and email are always open. We're happy to get back to you with whatever questions that you have. And thank you again so much for joining us. Each one of you is important to our mission. And I'm looking forward to seeing all of you at Dining in the Dark on November 1st. Thank you.